الصلاة والسلام على رسولنا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. مدد مشاهد دستور مولانا شيخ الله حافظ صالح شيخ محمد حقاني. مدد طريقتنا الصحبة والخير في الجميع الذين يستمعون القول فيتبعون أحسنه. صدق الله العظيم. Allah Azze ve Celle nasihatı dinleyip vaazları ya ders ilmi.
Allah Almighty says about those who listen to advice, who listen to lectures, or who listen to lessons.
Bilip ona dinleyen en iyisine tabi olanlar onlar.
And Allah Almighty says that the best of all are those who listen to advice, who attend lectures, who listen to lessons of knowledge.
Allah'ın makbul kullarıdır.
They are the ones who are accepted by Allah Almighty.
Ve de Peygamber Efendimiz'e min kavlen bila feal, konuşup söyleyip de sırf konuşmakla konuşup da yapmayanlardan etmedi, yani onları Allah'a sığınırız.
But our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, warns us about those who speak and only speak for the sake of having spoken, but do not act based on what they say, who do not practice what they preach.
Çoğu insan şunu yap, bunu yap der.
Now there are many people who give orders or instructions, do this, do that.
Kendi hiçbirini yapmaz.
However, they themselves do nothing of what they instruct.
Başkalarına kızar, niçin siz yapmıyorsunuz?
And then they are angry with others why they do not follow their instructions.
Yapmadınız, etmediniz. Halbuki kendisi ilk başta yapması lazım. Ulema amilin diyor.
But before you give an instruction, you are tasked to fulfill the instruction you give yourself. You need to practice what you preach, and you need to act on the words you speak yourself, because before you can say something to others.
Amil ulema, yani ilminen amel eden ulema makbuldur.
The true scholar or the true knowledgeable person is the one who acts based on his knowledge.
Şimdi çok var okuyor.
There are many who these days study
Vazife için yahut vazife yapmak için, ama vazifeyle beraber hem dünya vazifesini yapmış olur hem ahiret vazifesini yapmış olur.
And then they learn, they acquire knowledge, and they may be tasked after having acquired that knowledge to teach.
Onu makbul insanlardır, o kazanmıştır. Öteki türlü okumadan yapsa gene daha iyi, hiç olmazsa bilmiyorum der.
And those who are most acceptable are the ones who do not only acquire knowledge not only by and try to teach others, but who also educate themselves by also acting based what they preach, by acquiring knowledge for the sake in order to act based on that knowledge. Those are the accepted ones who learn and who then act based on what they have learned. Of course, there are also those who do not know, but who at least try to do as much as they can.
Bu kadar yapabildim.
And those are humble enough to admit that we do not know, but at least this is what we can do, and we try to do as much as we can.
Her şeyi bilip de hiçbir şeyini yapmayan insan o kendini kandırmıştır ilk başta.
And those who claim to know everything but do not practice or act based on their knowledge are lying to themselves.
Etraftakilerini de kandırmıştır.
They have fooled and cheated themselves, and they are fooling and cheating those around them.
Onun ilminden bir fayda gelmez.
There's no benefit to obtain from a person who spreads so-called knowledge which he himself does not observe, which he does not himself act upon.
fayda değil de zarar da gelebilir. Çünkü
knowledge by those people who do not practice what they preach will have no benefit. Instead, it may even be harmful.
Kendi kafasına göre de söyleyebilir insanlara.
Because those who do not practice what they preach are very likely to actually come up with things based on their own minds by deviating and manipulating knowledge.
Fikir verir.
And they may give opinions and ideas and recommendations based on their own minds.
Hakiki olmayan fikir. Çünkü kendi yapmadığı için.
And they may give opinions or recommendations which are based on their own thinking and which are not based on the truth.
Ya söyleyip de yapmaz ya yapmadığı için değiştirip de söyleyenler de çok var.
And there are many who do not practice what they preach, and there are also many who manipulate the truth.
Bu her zamanda yaşıyoruz. Alim var, ilim yok.
We now live in the end of times, and it is a time where there are scholars, yet there is no knowledge.
Çoğu nadir olarak kalmış o insanlar.
There are only a few people who are truly knowledgeable and who act based on their knowledge.
Allah'a inanan insan ne kadar bildiyse onu yapacak. Yapamadığını da
those who are fearful and believe in Allah Almighty must act based on what they know.
Ya bu kadar biliyoruz da yapamıyoruz desin.
And if there are things which they do not know, they must admit that they do lack knowledge and they only act based on what they do not, that they only act based on what they know and they lack knowledge.
Ama insanları kandırıp da yoldan uzaklaştırıp kalplerine şüphe düşüren insan.
But you must never claim to know everything and to claim to be knowledgeable and then preach things which you do not practice and to tell other people things which you do not yourself act upon. And this, because this leads to breaking people's hearts, making people go astray, and this leads to making people leave the right way.
Ya yoldan çıkaran insan her çıkardığı insan için o kadar ceza olacak ona.
And this is a stern warning to those who are who become the reason why people deviate and go astray from the right way, because they will be held accountable for every single soul they have led astray.
Onun için alim olmak kolay, ilmiyle amel etmek zor.
It is easy to claim to know everything. It is easy to become a scholar, but it is difficult to actually practice what one preaches.
Yapamıyorsun ilmiyle. Gene de biz bu kadar yapıyoruz. Biz size söylüyoruz ama biz inşallah biz de hepimiz yaparız desin.
You must admit that your knowledge is limited and that what you do is based on your limited knowledge, and you must admit your inadequacies to people and openly say that this is just as much as we know and this is just as much as we do, and you must never lead people astray.
Bu söylediklerimizi elimizden geldiği kadar yapalım desin.
And you must be humble enough to say, may we acquire knowledge as much as we can and to practice as much as we can what we have learned.
Gururlanıp ben bunu atıp tutuktan sonra hiçbir şey yapmazsa.
Do not commit the mistake of claiming to know everything and to formulate an opinion on this and on that.
Dediğimiz gibi iki cins var. Hem yapmıyor,
and be aware of those people who preach things but do not practice based on what they say.
Var. Bir de değiştirip de.
And be aware of those who manipulate the truth.
İnsanları kandıran var.
And those two types lead people astray.
Allah muhafaza etsin.
May Allah Almighty protect us.
Bu zamanın fitneleri bunlar.
These are the types of corruption that now exist in the end of times we now find ourselves in.
ahir zaman fitnelerinden Allah'ım hepimizi korusun, muhafaza etsin.
May Allah Almighty protect us from all types of fitna of the end of times.
Fitne, en büyük fitne işte dinde olan, yoldan çıkaran insanların fitnesi büyüktür.
And the greatest corruption one may cause, the greatest fitna, is to lead people astray, to lead those people astray who follow the way of Allah Almighty.
Tabii yüz binlerce fitne var şimdi ahir zamanda yaşadığımız.
As we now live in the end of times, there are hundreds of thousands of different types of fitna.
Bu en tehlikelisi budur.
But the most dangerous one is this.
İmandan, dinden çıkarmak.
The most dangerous is to make people go astray who have actually been following the way of Allah Almighty.
O en kötüsü odur.
This is the worst of all.
Öteki türlü hepsinden ağırdır bu.
And the accountability of having committed such a fitna, of such a corruption, is the heaviest compared to any other fitna.
Allah muhafaza etsin.
May Allah Almighty protect us.
Allah korusun hepimizi, imanımızı.
May Allah Almighty preserve and protect us all, and may Allah Almighty guard our faith.
Muhafaza etsin inşallah. Ve minallah tevfik. El Fatiha.